Hey everyone. I want to talk about something that I was just watching Sean's View Entertainment about this, and I looked it up on the link he provided. They're talking. Rumor is, and this is very early discussions, but apparently there's early talk of pairing CM Punk with Daniel Bryan, and then eventually having both align with Paul Heyman. Now, right now we're in a situation to where Paul Heyman is in a feud with CM Punk himself. And the rumor going around that a new Paul Heyman guy will come to Heyman's aid at Night of Champions. Now you might say, okay, well, what does this have to do with what you're going to talk about? Well, if you watch Sean's View Entertainment, he talks about the same thing. You go to dailywrestlingnews.com, you'll see the same thing. But basically, the early talk on this is they want to pair Punk and Daniel Bryan together to where Punk would cut a pipe bomb, if you will. He would drop a pipe bomb, a work shoot, on where they came from and on why Triple H is holding guys like them down, and then how he had to threaten to leave WWE to get finally noticed around there, finally get his push, his opportunities, and that basically really just and also basically indicate that they are treating Daniel Bryan the same way they treated him. So, that's a rumor right there, and that Paul Heyman would slowly realign with them, because the one thing that Punk and Heyman hate more than each other would be the McMahons and the corporation kind of deal. Now, that sounds good and everything, but the other word going around is possibly HBK being paired with Daniel Bryan. Now, you could still bring CM Punk into the scenario as well. Now, you might say, well, why would HBK be paired with Daniel Bryan? It's real simple. HBK, in a reality standpoint, because they like to bring some reality in there now, they want to blend that reality portion. HBK trained Daniel Bryan, and HBK is Triple H's friend. This would basically plant the seeds for the possible Triple H HBK WrestleMania 30 match next year. If that's the direction they go in, to me that would be one of the logical things to materialize out of that possibility. Now, if they go in the direction of Punk and Bryan, then there's a rumor going around that then the rumored match to materialize out of that would be those two against Triple H and Randy Orton at Survivor Series, or Randy Orton and a partner of Triple H is choosing to represent him, or both having two individuals represent them at Survivor Series. But more than likely it would be Punk, Bryan against Orton and Triple H. Now, basically, those are just that's just basically early talk on both fronts of how this is going to, I guess you could say, go through a mid-conclusion. Basically like, okay, we're going to have at the Big Four, we're going to have the indie guys probably go over. We don't know that yet, but that seems to be the possible direction they're going in. One of those two. And again, both have a realistic standpoint. I mean, Punk could basically say, hey, look, if he does his pipe bomb deal, if they go in that direction, Punk can say everything that they're talking about he would say, but also ad-lib, because he would be allowed to do that. He would be able to ad-lib, like say, hey, look, we know you guys don't think we indie guys get what the WWE is about. We do. But what we're trying to do is bring wrestling back to the forefront. We're not trying to we're not trying to remove the entertainment portion and all that you do outside of the ring. But when you're doing wrestling, you should focus on wrestling and nothing else. It's like, okay, you can still do your stuff outside of the business, like outside of the ring. Like, okay, if there's no Raw, there's no SmackDown, there's no pay-per-views, that's fine. do whatever. But when you're doing shows that have a wrestling ring, then focus primarily on the wrestling and nothing else. Again, that's just what I feel could come out of CM Punk's mouth, or what CM Punk could say should they decide to go in that direction. And again, both have a realistic standpoint. It's like, hey, look, you guys got to realize, we're trying to bring the change that these people want. The change these people want is focused on wrestling. You guys can't keep holding the indie guys down because, hey, they're going to outshine you in that ring. You got to let them be. You got to let the change progress and evolve and happen. But again, we'll find out down the line as the months progress if we're going to have a Punk, Bryan, Heyman alliance, or just a Punk, Bryan alliance, or just a Bryan HBK, or maybe even a Bryan, Punk, HBK alliance down the line. So, and again, if you go with HBK being involved in there too, yes, the match that would materialize out of that would be the WrestleMania 30 match between him and Triple H. And it would have a realistic standpoint because Shawn would basically be like, hey, look, it took me up until WrestleMania 12 to finally become champion, and basically break down the doors of saying, hey, here's a guy that's a little smaller than the average champion that's come in and become champion. It's the same thing with Brett. He could say, hey, look, me and Brett broke down the doors, or when guys like us were never meant to be champion, were never looked at as, WWE champion material, we broke that door down. We shattered that glass ceiling, and we proved that it doesn't matter what size you are, how strong you are, that if you've got the talent to do it, go out and do it. You should be able to prove it by going out and doing it. And again, just saying. And if this is all materialized, and to me, basically, if they go in one of these directions, you're going to have HBK. Let me put it to you like this: even if you go in the direction of Punk, Bryan, and Heyman, or just Punk and Bryan, you're still going to have HBK get involved down the line. And if they are going to involve HBK with both of them, or just with Daniel, then obviously it's going to basically what we're looking at is a materialization of, one, we're going to have HBK Triple H at WrestleMania if they go with HBK being involved in some way, shape, form, or fashion. We're going to have Punk and, CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan possibly for the championship, probably in the last match at WrestleMania, to prove that, hey, a new beginning has begun. A new era has begun. But again, we just have to wait and see exactly what direction they go in and how they go with it, how they work with it. So that's all I'm going to say. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'll provide the link that Sean's View Entertainment provided. But let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to y'all later.